Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Aryan and today we're talking about the DJI Mini 2 and whether or not you should consider buying this tiny little drone. Let's get started. Alright, so let's get right into what we get with the Mini 2 Fly More combo. So over here I have everything that came in the box, starting with the drone itself. Then we have the controller, which I actually really like a lot, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later. And it also comes with 2 extra batteries. One of them comes with the drone, of course. Then we have the power brick. Yes, some companies are still including power bricks. And then down to the boring stuff, we just have a Type-C cable and some extra thumbsticks for the controller, and then we have the extra propellers. So that's pretty standard stuff, and let's get into a little bit more detail about the drone itself. And you do also get a very nice traveling case. It stores everything that I showed you right in here. It's made with very nice materials and overall very nice to travel with. Alright, so now getting into the drone. And I love this thing. This is super tiny, as you can tell already. It pretty much takes up no space at all in your camera bag, which is a huge plus in my opinion. So one of the biggest selling points of this drone is that it comes in under 250 grams, which pretty much means that you can fly it without a license or any kind of certification, which is a huge win. I personally tried the exam. I failed it like 3 times. So this is the only drone I can pretty much legally fly. Well, there are other drones under 250 grams like the Mavic Mini, the original one, but this is pretty much the best you can get for under 250 grams as of today. DJI makes amazing drones and this thing is no exception. This thing does 4K video up to 30 frames a second, it does 1080-60, it has a 12 megapixel sensor that lets you shoot JPEG and RAW, which is awesome. And it is super easy to get used to. Flying this thing is a piece of cake pretty much. You'll get used to it in no time. And it's so compact and tiny. And the quality you get from this is honestly amazing for the size of this. So let's talk about flying for just a bit. And with the controller, you connect your phone and you can fly this thing. It's rated for up to 10 kilometers. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going that far to anybody, but 10 kilometers is what it's rated for, and it's using the OcuSync 2.0 technology. So it's ditched Wi-Fi over the Mavic Mini 2. Now it's completely OcuSync, which is like the new technology they're using in like the Mavic Airs and the Mavic Pros. I think one of the major reasons people recommend DJI drones over any other drones is because you feel so comfortable and safe flying it. I mean, the video just doesn't cut out pretty much. I think over the last month, I've only had the video cut out once or twice. And that was because the drone was ridiculously far away. And I can't even blame it for cutting out. I mean, I just shouldn't be flying that far. You pretty much always feel in control when flying this drone, which just adds on to the experience. And to be very honest, I'm okay paying a little bit extra for a drone if it gives me that satisfaction, and which this drone absolutely hands down does. Also, you guys should know that this drone only has sensors on the bottom, so pretty much used for landing. It has no other sensors anywhere on the drone, and you gotta be careful not to crash into anything because there's no obstacle avoidance here. So this thing is rated for 31 minutes of flight time on each battery. Again, no complaints there, and especially if you have the Fly More combo and you have the 3 batteries, that's good enough. I mean, you're really not gonna have any battery issues ever. This drone is also decently fast. I mean, I don't remember the official top speed. I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. But you definitely won't be disappointed. It's not too slow. And for everyday recreational use, I think it'll be more than enough for everybody. So we'll just set the drone aside for a little bit and we'll talk a little bit more about the controller, which I think is an absolutely amazing design. I know it's a little big and it's actually bigger than the drone itself, and it's also heavier than the drone, but honestly it feels really nice to hold. The grip is nice. It's got some very nice buttons all over it, and the joysticks, which is the best part, are hidden right over here. So when you're storing it, the joysticks are not a huge annoyance. You pretty much just take them out and you screw them in. Just like that, and you're ready to fly. And your phone actually goes right up here, which is amazing, and it's a lot better than the old design where the phone would be at the bottom. I mean, it's just really not that comfortable. I've used the Mavic 2 Pro, which has a controller like that. I really don't like it that much. This is a lot better, it feels comfortable to fly, and it can take pretty much any phone. All the cables that you need come included. I have the Type-C cable hooked up because I use a Galaxy S10, and everything stores away very nicely. It's all very nicely designed. The materials are amazing, and I really like this neutral aesthetic. The color is just really right up my alley pretty much. I love the design of this thing. I mean, it could be a little bit smaller. I mean, when you have a drone that small, the controller does get a little bit bigger, but honestly, I can't really complain. You're giving me a small drone, I'll deal with a bigger controller, that's okay. And one thing you'll also notice is that there are no antennas sticking out of this thing. What they've done is they've pretty much integrated them in the controller itself. So the antennas are actually inside of this bit here. So they're always pointing, right at the drone. The old antennas were kind of annoying. I mean, you never really know which way to point them. Some people have them pointing up, some people have them pointing straight out. Here they've taken the guesswork out of it. It's all integrated. You don't really got to worry about it. Moving on, we get this little power brick. And this is awesome, honestly. I mean, the extra batteries, of course, an absolute win. But this thing itself, it can charge all 3 batteries at the same time, which is awesome. But it can also output power. Like if you want to charge your phone, this can actually act as a power bank, which is awesome. I think this is about 15,000 milliamp hours for these 3 batteries combined. And you could, charge your phone as much as you want out of this thing. I wouldn't really recommend it because, you need these batteries to fly your drone. But that's a pretty handy feature to have. Very nice thinking. Oh, and this also charges over Type-C, so it's just one cable for the whole package, which is amazing. All right, let's talk a little bit more about this drone. I mean, of course, it's tiny. I think when it's packed up, it's even smaller than my phone, which is, kind of incredible if you think about it. It's been snowing nonstop here, so all the shots I've gotten of this thing are in the snow, which is, not the best thing in the world, but hey, you gotta deal with what you got. But talking about the sensor, I mean, this thing isn't gonna blow you away, but for the price point and the size of this thing, I was actually really impressed. I mean, it does 4K video up to 30 frames, which is an absolute win. I mean, you can't really ask for anything more than that. Even their Mavic 2 Pro only does 4K 30, and that drone is like $3,000. I mean, of course, that has a Hasselblad sensor, so that's where the main differences are, but I don't think you can really go wrong with this price point. You get really good high quality 4K video. I mean, you're gonna have the standard, DJI over sharpened look, but it's a small sensor, so you kind of have to, look at your pros and cons. I mean, of course, not everything's perfect, and one of my biggest issues with this drone is that it doesn't let you shoot in any picture profiles. You pretty much just have one option, it's the standard colors. That's it. You're not really allowed to shoot in like D-Log or anything else. You just get one picture profile, and it's very contrasty, very saturated, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. And you can't really push the image around too much in post, but again, I really find it hard to complain at a drone that's less than 250 grams and it costs like $700, 750 Canadian, I think, for like everything you just saw. And I just find it hard to complain at that price point. I mean, you're getting something that's amazing value. And don't forget the DJI software that you use, the DJI Fly app. That thing is amazing. It works so seamlessly. I haven't had a single hiccup. It's just pretty much perfect. I always say this, that people don't really take software into account when buying items, and that I think is a huge mistake. Because at the end of the day, you as a customer interact with the software more than anything, and if the software is buggy and annoying and the design is not that good, I mean, that's just gonna turn you off from the product. I mean, I feel like that was like the big problem with Sony cameras back in the day. Of course, they fixed it with their new menus, but mostly people just didn't want to go with Sony cameras because they had bad software. The menus were horrible. And that just turns a lot of people off. And I feel like software should be a very big consideration when you're looking into any kind of product. But thankfully, the DJI Fly app is designed flawlessly. That thing works like a charm, no hiccups at all. I think you can pretty much get to a location and be flying in less than like 2 minutes, which is just amazing. So yeah, pretty much my final thoughts. I mean, you're getting amazing value for this tiny little thing. It's honestly a beast. I mean, for what you can do with this thing is really awesome. I've had a lot of fun flying this thing, and it's pretty much a very good beginner's drone. If you don't have a license yet and you want to get into flying, this is honestly the way to go. Get yourself a Mini 2 and you will not regret it. There are some limitations like the picture profiles and, the sensor size, but honestly, for this price, you cannot complain. Alright guys, that's it for me today. I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, don't forget to leave it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys next time.